Good. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Beantown, Banter, and Bullshit. I'm here with my co-host, Lincoln TF, and as always, Kevin Lenahan. How are you guys?
Doing
Hey,
great,
Mike. Hey,
man.
Tom.
Looking good. Tom, you guys had a long week at the Cape. Good, relaxing week. Everybody looks great. A little bit of sun.
It was great. It's always great to go to the Cape. Unfortunately, we were there just in time to miss the Cape Cod Baseball League. It was literally our last night there. So we didn't get to see them, but just being at the Cape is awesome. I assume most of the fans here have been there once or twice, if not every summer of their life, like some of us, or like through their childhood. No, it's always a great thing. We did some fishing, which counts as a sport, so I can talk about it.
Did you catch a fish?
Yeah. Michael Finnegan, who was a friend of the show, he actually outdid me. He caught a bigger bass than I did, that's for sure. We didn't catch shit in the ocean, so we went to a pond where we know is always reliable. And it was. I caught a bunch of kivers. He caught a beautiful perch. Yeah, we had a great week. Me and Kev, we listened to / watched the was it Game 7 of Philly Atlanta, Kev? Was that the one? Yeah. So man, that was a great trip and some decent sports involved. But what's going on up there? I was actually more curious what's going on up there in Worcester with the Woo Sox. Apparently they're moving people up to the big leagues now. I mean, not that they haven't been, but they are.
Yep. Chavis got moved up today. I think Arroyo went down. So they make room, and everybody wants to see Duran get moved up, but we don't. That's selfish reasons, but Sox are good. That race looks pretty good. I know. They did with the Devil Rays. That's who they just took down, and then the Yankees are coming next. So,
I think I don't think you're allowed to say devil anymore. I think they're just the Rays. Didn't they take the devil out of the name
I
10 years ago? I call them the Devil Rays myself. Swear to God, I do.
It's along the same lines of the Centrum is still the Centrum.
Yeah, I know. And the UMass are still the Minutemen to me. I don't know what the fuck their name is now. What is their name now? I have no idea.
I believe that YouTube's rules are you're allowed to say the devil as long as you're calling Trump the devil.
Yeah, probably. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
What do you guys think about the Celtics hire? I know that's a big topic this week around here. I know I love it. I've seen some pretty good coverage on it.
All right. So I looked at the guy's career, and I do like it. He's a guy who's been coached more than he's been in the game. He played on 12 different teams before he made it in the NBA. You know what I mean? All the DL teams, Frontier, Northern, you name the league, and Europe and all that. So he's probably, to me, my mind, I don't know, I have never seen the guy play this far as I'm sure I have, but I've never paid attention to him. He averaged about 13 minutes a game in his best season, 4 points, 4 rebounds, roughly. So he was a bench player who was good enough to keep around, to fill in, to when the big man needs a rest, or, the middleman. I guess he's 6'7", 6'8", whatever. But I like the idea that, he was coached all those years. They coached him up to the NBA level, and he stuck there for 5 or 6 years with 4 or 5 teams. I think he went back and forth to the Knicks or the Lakers. So I like that. One thing that stood out to me that Kevin had brought up to me earlier in the coaching search is that nowadays people want guys with credibility, not only as players, but have you won a ring? Do you have anything to show me? And I guess, Kev, I'm not sure if you looked at this too, but 2014, he was the assistant coach of the Spurs team that won a championship. So he has that credibility to go in there and say, this is what, like, as Kev mentioned to me earlier, I don't want to steal your words, Kev, but like, he's like, yeah, he can go in there and say, this is what happens. Yeah, well, this is what happened. This is what happened on a championship team, and I get the fucking ring to prove it, and I'm all for him. I had really expected them to go with Chauncey Billups, Sam Cassell. There were a couple other names that just seem to be always at the top of the list. But this guy, looking at his history, not knowing anything about him, I got no beef with it. I kind of like it.
I I like it. I really thought Cassell. And not for the Kevin Garnett connection, nothing. But I would love to have Cassell as a coach. If he's anything like he was a player, he's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Sam Cassell.
I thought that's where they were going to go, but I like it. And what I read today about him is he was kind of like the translator, so to speak, for Popovich. Like Popovich is a pretty, abrasive guy. He would send this guy to go talk to the players, and smooth it over, and really communicate that way. So, your Popovich's right hand man. I'm good with it. That's a winner, 100% a winner.
It's funny. What Mike just said there actually raises alarms for me a little bit. First of all, I agree with everything that Tom said. That you really need to have. I mean, let's face it. In today's NBA, you do need to have an African American coach. It's important to it's all about keeping the stars happy and keeping them and getting the respect. I think you have to have a ring. I think it's important. And he's obviously not just a ring, but he's come through. San Antonio is the best run team in the sport, other than maybe Golden State. So he brings in that pedigree and all that experience. The only thing I was worried about even before this, and then from what Mike just told me, I didn't know, that makes me a little bit even more worried, is that we had been hearing that one of the reasons they hired him was that Smart, Tatum, and Brown played on him for Team USA a couple of years ago, and they highly recommended him. Now, that can be a good thing, but that can be a bad thing, because one of the problems that this Celtics team has had in the last couple of years is a lot of immaturity, and they tune out the coach. They do their own thing, and they need someone that's going to come in and command the respect. And when the coach tells them to do something, they do it, and they feel if they don't do it, there's going to be repercussions. So I worry about that, and I don't know anything about this guy's personality. So he may come in and lay down the law. But when I hear that he is like what Mike was just saying, that he was the go-between on San Antonio. So what was that like when the players were unhappy, they went to him? That's a little alarming to me.
It sounds like that, or it sounds like I don't know, man. That's Popovich is like your old grumpy uncle at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. He's like Phil from the Bulls. What's his face? Or like he's like got all these philosophical notions and stuff that fucking some 19-year or 20-year-old Trey Young or something doesn't want to fucking hear. You know what I mean? So you got a guy to break it down who's already understood what Pop was trying to tell him, and now translates it down to the younger guys. But I think what Kev was saying, or maybe not, is that you don't want a coach that the players love, because it's going to make it easy on them. Because players love to take it easy. You know what I mean? We love this coach because we don't have to run as many sprints. We love this coach because practice is only 90 minutes, not 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? Yep. So yeah, I don't know that about this guy yet, but like I said, his pedigree adds up. He looks like he should be a good coach. He's been successful as an AC for years. So I'm happy with it. We'll see what happens.
I mean, as that old grumpy uncle right here. Most of us, what we were saying, I think the three of us were saying, and many other people were saying, we were hoping that they could get KG. Now, why do we want KG? Because we know that what this team needs more than anybody is someone that's going to come in and say, get in line. Stop acting like 19-year-old kids and start acting like men if you want to win a championship. Because these are good kids on the team, but they're kids. They need someone that's going to come in and make them act like a man. And so I worry that this guy might not. It's KG. No one says no to KG. He tells you to do something, you do. He tells you to act the way you do it.
I would love KG for his fire and all that, but honestly, I never saw him as a coach. I've never ever seen KG as a coach. Yeah. I've never not his temperament to me. I don't know if.
Well, my point is the reason we brought him up was that we know that what was missing on this team is the command. The respect for the command, and there's a lot of immaturity. You needed someone that was going to go in and really whip them into shape. Not that they don't work hard and do laps and all that stuff, but that they need someone that's okay, Marcus, lay off on the outside shots for a little while, and he's got to listen to it. But if this guy's going to come in and Marcus Smart's going to say, I can just tune you out, that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if a head coach who's new probably will be coaching our summer team. Is the NBA doing a summer league?
Yeah, always.
They usually
Probably.
do. They've been doing it for years now.
Yeah.
That might be
We're not going to have anyone on it. We
no,
don't have
I
a
know,
draft
but at
pick.
least we should be able to get a look at him, right? Like I
don't know.
assume
They usually have the assistant coach do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's your first time as a head coach, I think you might want to do it.
Maybe.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll have to see.
Maybe.
That
I
would,
seen a meme today that was talking about I'll tell you, I didn't know about this trade before I reacted to it. The Kemba for Horford trade. And I didn't know who Moses Brown was, but he didn't sound like an integral piece of it. But it looks like he's gonna be pretty good for us. I mean,
yeah. I had a very positive review
Yeah.
when I read up on Moses Brown.
Yep,
He's the perfect prototype of a guy who can get better, who's already decent. He can play. He's already
Lord.
proven he can play at the NBA level, get 10 points, 8 rebounds in 28 minutes or whatever it is. Yes.
he's a rebound monster.
Yeah, I know. So he can
Yeah.
play. I'm more than happy to let him grow on our team. I just
Yeah.
hope he doesn't get buried on the bench. You know, you never know.
You guys know I never miss a game, and I remember that game when he had 19 rebounds in the first half against the Celtics, and it was ridiculous. And
Yes.
half of them were offensive rebounds, and he'd grab it and just dunk it. I mean, he was now I don't know. He didn't do that in the second half, so I don't. They were obviously able to neutralize it. And the Celtics, he's not going to do that every week. The Celtics had a lot of problems on defensive rebounding, so that's one of the reasons But yeah, it was very promising to see in that one. And like, who is this guy? This guy's like playing like Wilt Chamberlain, And
Yep.
now we got him.
Yeah, I do love. I mean, it's sexy to think about him and Robert Williams healthy in the middle, having them.
Yeah.
I mean that
That
with
would be
everything else we
awesome.
got. But really, what is the point guard situation right now? What are we rolling with?
Rondo.
Yeah, all day long, Rondo. Yeah.
I would, you know what? I would still take fucking Rondo. I
No
love
doubt.
Rondo.
All day.
I
I don't
take
care. Any time in his career, he's welcome
Yeah.
back. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Bring
I'll
it.
take fucking Rondo anytime.
Yep, I think that's
He's
fantastic.
going to be released by the Clippers, definitely.
Yeah,
He didn't-
I saw a
they didn't even play him
headline.
in the playoffs.
Yeah. How old is he really? He got to be 34, 35 now.
Around there, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's probably on the tail end. But hell, I would take him on my team any day of the week. He's just
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
fun to watch. Even
The
if
elbow. He had a dislocated elbow. He was playing defense with one arm. The guy,
Yeah.
You want to talk about hard? That dude's hard all day long. And the best part is he's fought with like all of his teams that he's gone on since the Celtics. Like he's fought with LeBron. I think he played with and with the Lakers. He was rivals. He's rivals with anybody that's crossed that court for him. Like KG. Just not
Yeah.
like
I
I don't know. KG's the better shit talker, but that's what it is. I dig it.
Oh,
I'll take Rondo all day long. I don't like Lonzo Ball. I don't want Lonzo Ball here, and it seems like they're
I'll take
trying it that way.
I like his numbers
I'll take him.
and his potential, but I don't know. I mean, what don't you like about him, Mike?
I don't-
Shamrock, whatever.
I don't like his. Well, obviously his dad's influence, but he's been pretty quiet now. But I don't.
Yeah,
like his
haven't
style.
heard shit from him. Lamar Ball,
Yeah.
God, he got flushed. He got canceled, not because he said anything wrong, because everything he said was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You should be canceled if you're a fucking idiot. You know,
Yeah,
it's
you should.
ridiculous.
There it
Yeah,
is.
he was up there. He's going to be better than Jordan. They're going to go 1, 2, 3. They're all going to play in the Lakers. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, I've not heard much from him lately.
He
which is
lied
good.
about how many shoes they sold. Remember?
Yeah. He sent his kids to play in fucking Lithuania. I still get Facebook alerts from their team. Like ZB Baranskis. They win 102 to 89. I don't give a fuck. Somehow some Lithuanian has my fucking email. And I get updates.
I love it.
Ridiculous.
I like it. I'll tell you, the only Ball brother who is this LiAngelo cat. I mean, he's the one that really.
Yes, that's the one they say is who knows, the best.
Well, Melo
of the
Ball just
three.
the rookie of the year.
He's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, LaMelo. I'm fucking up the Luz.
Yeah, no, LaMelo's ridiculous.
Yeah, he got a good one.
What Zion wants out of New Orleans or something like that.
If there's some way, if there is any way that we can get Zion, I mean, I don't care if we have to trade
No, there's
half
not.
the roster and
There's
3
not.
number ones, I would do it. You know, why not? You could eventually
You would
pull
need
in
two
the other
Tatum.
pieces.
you would need to have 2 Jason Tatums to trade for that.
We don't even.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. No one's gonna trade. It's like trading Michael Jordan in his first 3 years or something. It's not that he's that good, but you know what I mean. Or trading Shaq if you didn't have to. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you'd have to spend. There's almost priceless, right? Like they're not gonna give him up for anything. I don't know, unless
they gave Anthony Davis up. I mean.
That's true. They did give up Anthony Davis, who was sort of a similar regarded player. Come on.
But it was different though, because Davis had 1 year left on his contract, and they had to trade him. That's the only reason they traded him.
Right.
Because he was going to go to Los Angeles no matter what. So they had to take the offer that the Lakers gave him. And frankly, they gave a tip, But but you can control a rookie for 7 years. So Zion still is under their control for 5 more years. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, he could pull the I'm unhappy bullshit, but
yeah, no, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Well, for me, like if you want to like look at the Celtics, what's their best chance to actually become a contender within the next couple of years? You have to take somebody from your younger player has to really become a significant player. I'm not saying a star. But you go back to like say 2007, and they had guys like Tony Allen and Delonte West that became really good, decent players.
Bruce Bowen on those teams, the defender? Remember Bruce Bowen? He was really good at defense, and I liked him, but I don't know if he ever stuck around for the championship. He might have been.
Are you thinking of Leon Poe? You might be thinking of Leon Poe.
No, I'm thinking of Bowen. I think. All right, yeah, I do remember Leon Poe. All right, he was big, strong. He was big. Built like a fucking shithouse. Looked like fucking a miniature Karl Malone.
Yeah. Well, those guys all had the trade value because they developed really over that 2007 season, and that enabled them to trade for Ray Allen and KG. So if you're looking at something similar this year, which of these guys? Because you don't have a draft pick, you just traded it away. So you got to look at Langford, Naismith, and Pritchard, and hope that these guys. And I actually really like what I saw from Naismith. I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
So I mean. So whether those guys develop and they become a core part of your team and you become a contender, that's fine. Or they just look really good and you trade them to get another missing piece. But that's the key. If those guys don't develop, I think we could be looking at a tank and a rebuild within a couple of years. Sad to say.
We'll see. Moses Brown could be a cornerstone. You never know. That could have been the most. I mean. I dogged Stevens when he did it. Like, what the fuck? Why are we getting Horford back? Like, I know you got to get rid of Kemba, but I'll take Horford back in that scenario. I never had a problem with Horford. I was surprised he left, but it wasn't like Ray Allen leaving. That's for sure. It wasn't like the same turncoat.
Yeah, it wasn't the same level of acrimony, and I actually really liked Horford. And I remember talking to Kev on the phone. Like during games and just watching how he could get inside and still get an assist. You know what I mean? He's like at the top, you know what I mean? He's a big man who could pass and like he really did it at the right time. You know, if Durant is slashing and he's going to be right in front of you, he was more than willing to and able to dish off a pass. It's just fun to watch. You know, you never knew. I understand he's also probably in the 35, 36-year-old range. So maybe slowing down a bit. But he's an entertaining player to watch. And if we have to go through a rebuild, which I don't want to, I really don't, he's the kind of guy to have on the team. At least keep it interesting. You know?
Well, Horford kind of, in some ways, he's kind of like Draymond Green, and only in this way, but it's an important way. It's not just that they can pass well; you actually run the offense through them because they understand the plays. They understand, like so. In Horford's case, you give it to him at the top of the key. And then all the action builds around that. And he decides what direction things are going to go. Stevens did a lot of that with Horford. And Drummond is really the key guy on Golden State a lot of times doing that. Obviously, the best player is Curry with the scoring. But, I mean, Drummond is a really smart guy that they can run the offense through. The only problem with Horford is like, there's only so many of these guys you can have that just are smart but aren't really good on your team in the NBA. The NBA is so good now. The guys are so skilled. Everybody can score that it gets like, so if you have Horford and Smart, you're like, that means the other 3 guys better be fucking Harden, Durant, and Kyrie because you know what I'm saying? It's like they just don't have enough offensive skill.
Yeah. How'd that work out for Harden, Durant, and Kyrie this year?
Well, if they were
They're at
healthy,
home.
they
They're
wouldn't
watching podcasts right now.
Hey,
Because
Kev, how you doing?
obviously injuries and all that. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, you need 2 or 3 power scorers. Like we're just literally going to put numbers on the board, and then you need like a Horford and a Smart to facilitate that and pick up the slack. Yeah, it's hard to get. It's hard to get. We're close with JT and JB. You know, we're close.
It's kind of like Tristan Thompson, who like
yeah,
I love his approach. I mean, I love how hard the guy plays. To me, I thought he seemed like a team player from the get-go, but he has such a limited. Well, of course, Horford has more offensive game than. I mean, Horford can take threes. Tristan Thompson cannot. Horford can pass. Tristan Thompson's really not a passer, but he was good at setting screens. You know, but he's not a great defensive player, not a great rebounder. All he was good at was offensive rebounding. So it's like you really, unless the other 3 or 4 guys in your team are excellent, you're exposed. If you know, once you have all 5 guys, got to be pretty good now on your team. They got to be able to shoot. They got to be able to shoot free throws.
Are you telling me Jerry C. Sting has no place in today's league? Because if you are, I'm outraged. Jerry C. Sting
50. He's like 58, so.
But yeah, you're right. You used to be able to get away with having facilitators and stuff like that. But now even those guys are scoring 15 to 20 points a night, you know, with 8, 9 assists or rebounds, depending on what the specialty is. It is tougher. Yeah.
How about Golden State getting 2 picks in the first 14?
I saw that. Yeah. What a fucking, what a rape. That could be, that could actually dictate shit for the next couple of years.
Are you talking about OKC? Is that what you said?
No,
it's Golden State.
Oh, Golden State. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They got 7 and 14.
OKC has something like 26 picks in the next 6 years.
No, they cleaned up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest collection of picks. I don't know what do you do with that? We saw all the Celtics had a problem when they had all their extra picks, and it's not like you're at a casino and you can just trade in all your quarters for a $5 bill. You can't. So I mean, you end up with all these picks that you can't use. It's a good problem to have, but it's not that easy to just cash them in, as we saw. And with that many, like, how can you ever cash them in? You know, but
I think Orlando got a couple picks too in the top 10, which is scary. I think they were pretty good. But think of that 5. I mean, they got Wiseman, Steph, and Clay will come back, and a couple picks.
Yeah.
What do they got? Wiggins too. I don't think they'll lose any of them this year. So
yeah, they got a lot of time. And Steph, to me, Steph, when he's healthy, is still arguably the best player in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, when you watch him, I mean, people get frustrated, but it's incredible. Oh, I gotta, you know what? Remember, what the hell is his name? The guy, Kobe Bryant. When Kobe Bryant had his last game, he had remember he had 70 points.
Yes.
In his last game. And I didn't watch it, but I always assumed that it was just, and I think I even read people say it was just crap, like the defenders just get out of his way and just as an honor to let him score. But for some reason, that came up in my suggested videos recently. It was the last quarter of the game. No, he actually was scoring legitimately. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, here's this old dude out there. He was still Kobe Bryant, at least on offense. It was a close game. The other team was trying to win. They weren't letting him have anything. He just was still that good at the end.
Unreal.
If you get a chance, put it up. It's like the last, and it's it's the last quarter, but it's it's all compressed down, so you can get through it really quick. But it's like, man, it's unbelievable how good he was. When you watch that last quarter of his life, it's like, wow.
I'm guilty. I respect his game a lot more. I never really paid attention to it like I should have. I mean, obviously, Kobe was Kobe, but the things he did were incredible. I mean,
yeah, I gotta tell you, I kind of liked Kobe at first because I heard his father was like a pro ball player, played in Italy and all this shit. But then I learned that they didn't get along. They were estranged. Like, I'm talking about when he got drafted. I was thinking this about him, like trying to figure out what kind of guy is this guy. He's 19, apparently. But yeah, within the first few years of being in the league, he's in the top 5 in fucking everything. Scoring, rebounds, assists. I mean, he literally became like a cross between Magic and Michael, almost within, I don't know, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years, he was hitting All-Star. I'm sure he hit the All-Star game a dozen times in his career. I mean, he was awesome. And yeah, he's one because he's on the West Coast, I have an excuse. His games probably started at 10:30 half the time, so you never really see him unless they're playing the Celtics or someone. But yeah, he was. I guess he is probably considered a top 5 player right now of all time,
No
right?
doubt. In my mind,
Is
yeah,
he?
no
Yeah,
doubt. No doubt.
I would say.
I don't know if you guys have seen it too. Stephen A. came out the other day and said that Devin Booker is the new Kobe Bryant. But
I did see that, and I laughed. I got to be honest with you, I laughed.
I did too. But if you watch these last few games that Devin Booker has played, that kid is unbelievable. And I would have to do a split screen to really put my stamp on it. But he looks like Kobe Bryant when he's in the air. He's jumping as high as he possibly can, and his release point is just he's hang time when everybody else is on their way down. Like, it's incredible. I didn't really. And Aiton's coming through. I don't know if you'd seen.
Yes, that was awesome.
I'm a big fan of Aiton.
Did you see the final play?
I did not know.
Jay Crowder. But
I'm a big fan of Crowder too.
Jay Crowder inbounded the ball, right? And shouted to Mal Langford. He put it up there. Devin Booker set a screen like nobody's business. Jay Crowder there was 0.8 on the clock. There was 0.7 left when they got done. He put it right on the rim, an inch away from the rim, where who was it? I think it was Saric, maybe. He went up and he got caught in the rim. The ball was right there. He can just threw it right down. Unreal. Like, you could not. If I had to give it in order, I would say I give Crowder the best spot for the pass, Booker the second spot for the screen, and DeAndre Ayton, obviously. I mean, he was right there. It was perfect. Think about that. 0.8, and they ended it with 0.7. They still had 0.7 on the clock. So
they were saying about a month ago that Ayton might be a guy that might be available in the off season, not because he's played bad, because he hasn't, but because they have so many guys they have to pay that they may have to decide to lose, the center, because the center is not really instrumental in the modern NBA, But man, after the way he's played in the playoffs and after how far they've gone in the playoffs, and it looks like they're going to go at least into the championship game. How do you get rid of something?
That's my pick. That's my stamp. They're taking the whole entire thing down. They might not lose. There's something's on their side. You see something that clicks. They get like that. They were down by 1 the other night when that went down. All
the super teams are out. So
yeah, I mean, I love this playoffs. Everybody says it's because LeBron's not in, but I love it. It's just spirit teams. I don't want the Clippers. Yeah. That's the only thing I really don't want. I wouldn't mind it. The Bucks. I don't care either way, to be honest. But
yeah, that's how I kind of feel too. Like with the Bucks, I like Giannis. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's trying to do the right thing. I think he really he plays unselfish. He just wants to win. I think he's a completely 100% unselfish guy that's dedicated to the playing for Milwaukee, the city, the community, playing hard on the court, doing the right things.
Workhorse.
And so I feel a little bad for them if they lose again, because they've been so close, But I don't really, how can you go against Trae Young too? I mean, that's
unreal. That draft class, Trae Young, Doncic, and Ayton. I mean, they're all stars. There was a ton more too, but that's pretty serious. I'll take it.
Dallas traded with Atlanta their pick because they wanted Doncic, and Atlanta took Trae Young.
Yep, Trae Young for Doncic. You can't lose either way. But I really like Trae Young. I really, really like that kid. I mean, look what he dealt with through this series. He got spit on, whatever. I love it.
Yeah,
he just stepped up and dang. Well, what do you think about the Suns in 4 guy? Did you see that?
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of memes about that. Everyone loves the Suns. So what about him? So he was screaming at a game 1? Was that why he became a meme?
No,
explain to me why he became viral, please.
Because the guy behind him, I don't know, they spilled beer on him or something, but the kid was in Denver. It was a sweep game. And the kid behind him was starting shit, a punk. The kid looked like a punk. And it was 2-on-1. Well, this kid took a sucker punch at the Phoenix guy, and he tuned him up. Like, I have never seen him, like, He stopped.
No, I never saw that. They didn't show that on
great.
ESPN that I saw. I'm gonna have to go watch.
Oh my God! The guy has an action figure out right now that's blowing up on eBay for like $6,000 or something. He's got.
Kev, did you know that? Hang on, Kev, did you know about this? I've heard
Yeah.
about the Sons in 4 guy. Did you know about there was a fight in the stands? I did not know that.
He stopped in the middle of the fight. He stopped. Now he's wearing a Phoenix jersey. The other guy's wearing a Denver jersey. He stopped in the middle of the fight and says, "I'm like Sons in 4," and then goes back to beating the guy again.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Unreal.
I saw something like the most popular man in Arizona today is the Sons in 4 guy. And they just showed a picture of him.
I would have to say he's the most popular man in America right now. He has to be trending on everything. Every game they win, that guy, I mean, everybody, they showed him the other night just walking around taking selfies. He's all over the internet.
Oh,
it's
man.
fantastic. The best part
That's
is
awesome.
he got sucker punched and took over the fight and then, went crazy on a guy.
I'm gonna watch it on YouTube, I guess. Maybe I've seen
baby. Sons in 4. That is so funny. He stopped in the middle of the fight and talked shit. That's awesome. You can't beat that.
I could beat that. I could be that too. I'd be in that fight, except I'd be lying on the ground getting beat up, and I'd say time out, and then I turn the camera and say Sons in 4. Like I go back to kicking my ass.
It's unbelievable, but the Suns really do look good, and that kid, the point guard there, Cam, he's come through. No, Chris Paul's out right now. It was.
He's back. They said he's back tomorrow. I think.
He's probably.
I saw something. Right. He's in a COVID protocol.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Isn't that tonight?
It's tonight.
For game 3, he was possible. That's what I think I saw. He's possible.
Cameron Payne scored 29 points in that game in Chris Paul's absence. Ayton was 12 for 15 from the field that game. 24.
God, that's like the old Robert Parrish lines. Remember, he'd go 12 for 15. He'd never shoot from more than 4 feet away from the hoop. It was awesome. It's like, all right, man, you got an 80% shooting percentage from the field because you don't shoot from the field. You basically shoot from the top of your arm over everybody else.
Unreal.
But I like the Andre.
Tom, I'm surprised you're not actually wearing an Ayton jersey because he's like a total Tom Fleming kind of player. He's
I like
the big guy in the middle.
Yep. You know me. I'm a sucker for the Shaqs. I'm always looking for a Bill Russell. I wanted Greg Oden over Kevin Durant to my eternal shame, but I still say a real Greg Oden would have been better than Kevin Durant. The guy they sold me as ambidextrous, can jump out of the gym, can shoot long range. Yeah, I bought all of that. Kev was like, nah, we want this skinny fuck from Texas. I'm like, fuck you. I want the giant
number one.
dude.
Oden went number 1, so it wasn't.
I know he did.
Wasn't just you. Yeah.
I was. I can't even lie. I was Oden all day long. Oden. I mean,
my thing was, what I told Tom was, if you can have a superstar scorer in the NBA, which maybe comes along sometimes once every 10 years, you got to grab it. I don't care what position it is. You got to grab it. And Durant was that good on offense where you could say this guy's going to be a once in a generation player.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Hey, I see Mike Moen has joined us. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Moen,
nice to see you back.
The original Shamrock Holmes right there, the OG. Mike, how you doing?
Mike, Tom, Kevin, pleasure.
Hey, Mike. Nice to meet you.
What do you
he's been on here before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched it on YouTube. I wasn't a guest, but I remember seeing him.
Well, yeah, Kevin, I actually had a question for you when you brought up the why do you feel that NBA coaches nowadays need to be African American?
Well, it's not necessarily they need to be, but it's so important keeping your superstars they have to have a coach that they respect and that they listen to. And nowadays, I hate to say it, but it's all about keeping those superstars on your roster, because if they're not happy and they demand to be traded, what are you going to do? So you really have to it's an African American league. So that's why I don't mean it. Yeah. I don't mean it for like political reasons or anything, just that for the sake of keeping those players, responding to it.
To be honest, like take the Brooklyn Nets. I was listening to EEI today, which I do every day, but they were talking about, obviously we all know it's a players league. Players run the league, and do they really need a coach? Like, honestly, because they were talking about the
Yeah.
Well, see, that's not to interrupt, but that's the flip side of what Kevin is saying. I think is that they really don't need a coach. They need a cheerleader and a friend, but also one with credibility. So you have to have achieved something in basketball. You know what I mean? Well, I don't believe. I mean,
Kerr.
Steve Nash, Steve Kerr. They could be great coaches. Absolutely, white guys, not black guys. Rick Carlisle just got hired again at Indiana, right? I think I saw that.
The thing is, though, I don't even think it's even been an issue. I think the media's made it an issue. I saw a post today.
Well,
you saw Jay Williams' asshole quote before even. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he said.
What was that? Like, what was that?
What did he say?
He had to be high. He said he spit out that, well, something about congrats to the Celtics for hiring their first non-white coach or whatever.
Well, fucking Casey Jones. Fucking Casey Jones doesn't exist. Are you stupid? You stupid fucking card.
Yeah.
Bill Russell was the coach.
How about
They've
Doc
had
Rivers?
Doc Rivers is a fucking coach.
Look
They've
at that.
had six black coaches.
Jesus.
People went bananas. But you know what? It raises awareness that you can't take that. That's the shit that people believe. If no one knows they're going to believe that. It's irresponsible, which the media's been completely irresponsible with the whole thing. Because and another quote, someone said, came out today and said something about the complaint about, no one's complained. No one cares about black or white. It doesn't matter. The guy's been in the Spurs organization for 15 years. That's
what's funny, you guys.
Good. Yeah, Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich. There's a million of them.
You guys just brought up a great name. That's a great, interesting point. You brought up Rick Carlisle, who is arguably one of the best coaches of all time. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he will be. He's won championships. All right. Dallas has been one of the best run organizations. Suddenly he's available right at the exact time the Celtics are looking for a coach. And Rick Carlisle was drafted by the Celtics.
I know.
And yet he's not even in the conversation.
I know. The minute I saw that he had signed, I was like, how do I not know that he was available? I honestly didn't even know that he had left and was like looking for a new job. Because like we've talked about, I wanted Chauncey Billups or Sam Cassell, names I was familiar with, guys I know. Guys who have made their bones in the NBA. But I never saw Rick Carlisle on the list.
The Mavericks coach when they won, right? I think that was Rick Carlisle.
Yeah. No, I mean, he has all the credibility. I don't know why he wasn't on our short list.
He's also considered an innovator. I mean, the odds of having that guy available, it's normally, if it wasn't for the skin color issue, that's a no-brainer. You get Rick Carlisle. That's it. There's not even there's nothing else even to talk about.
I disagree. Because it's a totally different game now. It's not Rick Carlisle's game. Is not the league right now. The league is run. I'm telling you, I'm not a believer. I believe race has zero to do with it other than the media. And
they take advice from the coaches, but on the court, especially superstar players or veteran players will say,
you're running.
Yeah, you know what the coach said, but we're gonna do this, and look at Luka Doncic,
look at Doncic,
beast. Absolute beast, but what is he missing? He's missing something, obviously, because I watched that series and there was something lacking in that leadership role. And
they need to.
Well, he's still young, man. He's still kind of young, right? And he's coming from Europe. I mean,
well, that's the thing. These are kids. A lot of these, look at it.
The kids are what the league is right now. The kids are what the league is right now. John Morant, Zion. I mean, that's what it is. Trey, Luka.
Well, yeah, Zion crying about already crying. It's like, all right, maybe establish yourself a little bit before you start whining about being traded.
Here's a question for you guys. Why did Miami, which went to the championship last year, do so poorly this year? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I know at the start of the season they had injury problems and Butler was out, but by the end of the season they were healthy and they still got knocked out of the first round of the playoffs against a team that they.
All right, I'll tell you, it's because they traded away Kelly Olynyk, who is the linchpin of any team that he's ever on. That's why.
I like
Yeah.
Kelly.
They should never. I like Kelly Olynyk, man.
I'm a
They
big
should have
Kelly
kept
fan.
him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a
So
hard worker.
otherwise, no, I really have no content. I have nothing to contribute. But that's my
Yeah,
theory.
no, it's just a mystery, right? And then you look at three out of the four teams that were in the Final Four last year, which was only in October, right? So the Celtics, Miami, and the Lakers, they all got knocked out in the first round.
You know, the answer is COVID.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the answer for fucking everything.
So, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
honey,
really.
why'd you forget to buy milk? Fucking COVID, bitch.
It was
I know.
Jesus.
I just brought up the point. I just brought up the point at work, but saying like, I got to break out my list of excuses now because COVID's over.
Yeah, no shit. Seriously, I'm gonna use it forever. No, man, I had COVID back in my 50s. All right.
Go borrow mine.
But
Go
I
borrow
was
mine.
listening to sports talk radio, obviously, but they were talking about, someone brought up the point where between Brown and Tatum,
Yeah.
had interest in different coaches and who you should cater to. Should you bring them in and have a group discussion on who they're gonna hire, or because I heard Tatum wanted one coach and Brown wanted another. I don't know if you guys heard about any of that or what your opinion is.
My answer is, what would Bill Belichick do?
Go
That's the
for it
bottom
on
line.
4th and 2. He'd go for it on 4th and 2.
And the players don't get a say. You get what you get, or you go. See you later. You can't have people that aren't about the team. If they need their certain coddling, see you later. And I get that you want to connect a young guy with the young team and get it. And I get, yes, you want their opinion. You're not going to bring someone in that rubs them the wrong way. But essentially, in the end, it doesn't matter. You're going to do what you're told. You're going to run the plays. You're there. That's it. That's what being a player is. You're not the coach. You're the player. There's not.
Well, the whole thing was bizarre to me that they made Brad Stevens, in charge of basketball operations, and where they said there was a disconnect between the players and Brad Stevens. So now he's making the decisions of the players that are coming, or any personnel that's coming to the team. So
that whole thing, you have to realize that Danny Ainge wanted nothing to do with the NBA after this year. He came out and said he does not connect with today's NBA. He's not, and because the players get their say or whatever. Aside with that, Brad Stevens is probably the next smartest guy in line. You think Brad Stevens, he wouldn't even hit the floor before he gets signed. He's a analytics guy. He's the numbers guy. He's always been.
Well, I don't doubt that, because I watched them. I mean, you watched them. We all watched them coach in college, and it was amazing. And when you brought up Ainge saying his disconnect, from the players today, was because of the disrespect and everything, and with Kyrie and the Nets, and how no player stepped up like you. Because back in the day, nobody would have put up with that.
Yeah.
Especially, but obviously it's a different, like Kevin brought up, it's a different game today. It just is. And
you know why it's a different game? Because you can't punch anybody in the face anymore. That's the whole reason why the whole world sucks now. You can't punch anyone.
Right.
You can't. People walk around unfazed because they know if you touch them, they're going to win. They're going to take you to court, whatever. Call it sob, but that's the way the world is now. You're going to get sued. You're going to get whatever. You can't. But unfortunately,
we'll go to court.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the bottom line, man. I mean, I get it. I don't know. I think they'll be all right. I like Naismith. I like Pritchett. I like Moses Brown. I like where they're going. They got to put it together. That's it. They got to.
Well, they were bringing up the fan base and saying that the Celtics fan base was the worst out of all our 4 teams.
It's a storyline. It's a storyline. That's it.
Right.
In what way are they the worst though?
No, I'm just saying because they basically trash like any other opinion. Basically, they're the ones who like Brad Stevens or whatever it may be, any moves made, and like this trade, they're loving, they're embracing Al Horford. Where he walked out on you 2 years ago.
Yeah, if you go onto the Celtics blog or onto the Celtics Reddit group, there's a so-called green teamers, and it's true that they like you'll draft some guy at the end of the second round who's going to play in Europe, and these guys like this. We have a guy that we drafted in the second round last year that's playing in Israel, a young kid. These guys think he's going to be the second coming of Luka Doncic, and I look at this guy and look at the same video they post. I'm like, this guy's never going to play in the NBA, never. Maybe I'm wrong, and there's some little role he pulls at the end of the bench, which is he's never going to be a star or a key player or anything like that, But they really elevate their hopes on every single player.
Well, you look at Al
he's going to be the best.
He's 35 years old, and like I said, he walked out on you 2 years ago, and he came out today, obviously saying all the right things because that's what you have to do. But he walked out. What it was $30 million or whatever they offered him, and then he didn't want to be here. And now all of a sudden,
yeah. But in fairness, I don't think that's you talking about Horford.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. What happened was when Kyrie, the way the NBA is, you can go over the cap to keep your players, right? So they had everything structured that year when they traded for Kyrie and they signed Hayward. So that's it. That was their last chance to sign big free agents. But then when Kyrie walked, they had to make up for it by going for someone. So they could not offer Horford the money to retain him, the full amount. So and still go after Kemba Walker. And they felt like once Kyrie walked, they were kind of reacting and they had to go after someone at least similar. So they went after Kemba Walker. Once they signed Kemba Walker, it was too late to get Horford, and you couldn't offer him, you couldn't offer him the full amount of money. So it was really, if they had made Horford a priority, they easily would have kept him. But the reality is Walker became their first priority once Kyrie was leaving, and honestly,
I don't think anyone disagreed with that at the time, right?
No.
It seemed like a perfect fit, like to replace Kyrie with Kemba. It was not something I expected, actually. I was pleasantly surprised by that move and unpleasantly surprised with the results. Of course, it never turned out the way it was, the injuries and, just the slump we sort of got in. But I don't know where I was going with that. I was really making sure my mic worked, and I guess it does because you can hear me. But seriously, I liked having Kemba Walker on the team, and I was sad to see him go, but obviously it wasn't going to work with him. We can build around him. That wasn't happening. 2 years didn't happen. Can't.
Man, just think about where we were at the beginning of that season before Hayward broke his leg.
Oh my God!
You had Horford, you had Hayward, you had Kyrie, you had a young Tatum and a young Brown.
Yeah,
and you had the Clippers pick, the Sacramento pick, and the Memphis pick coming up in the next 5 years that were all projected to be high lottery picks. Wow, things have really gone in a
I remember where I was. I remember that first 5 minutes of that game, I was on cloud nine, man. When the first 5 minutes when Hayward, before he did that to his foot, I was sitting at Hooters at the bar. I have never planned for a Celtics game like that in my life, not other than the finals. I
was just talking to my dad about after we won in 2008, and then I don't remember the exact year, but when we were in the NBA Finals, and Perk went down, and how if Perk had not gone down hurt, we would have won that series.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Maybe.
Yeah. No doubt.
I remember Mike, my wife I was watching the game with her. I'm like, oh shit, this is the first game with that lineup we were just talking about, particularly Gordon Hayward as being the newest acquisition, and or like the most, seemingly the most popular. And we sat there for like the first 3.5 minutes or however long it took for that to happen. And the minute it happened, I just screamed, and my wife was horrified. She's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Look at his leg." And they showed the replay, and literally that whole season disappeared right in front of me. I remember it to this day. I'm like, okay, that the biggest move we made in this offseason is now null. We'll never see him again. I don't know if we'd ever see him again.
Do you guys think he was ever the same? Gordon Hayward.
No, I don't think he was. Maybe he can get back there, but he's not. He's not the
bad,
same.
though.
His numbers aren't the same, I don't think.
He's not bad. I think he's aged appropriately where he's at. I think honestly, he's not the same player, but probably 2 years after that, why would he be? You know what I mean? He's still pretty good though. He's working well.
But I mean, you look at it as like I bumped my leg at work and I'm like hobbled for 3 weeks, so I can't even imagine dealing with some of these injuries that these players deal with.
With Stevens at the helm, I wouldn't be surprised if Hayward makes his way back. But,
it's possible. It's possible. I mean, if he gets back to, his efficiency, that would be great. But now he doesn't have any upside. I think we've already seen the top of him, right?
Oh, yeah, long time.
Like, whereas before I was thinking maybe he might, generate a little more numbers. Yeah, but that's
he's an injury away from retirement.
Yeah, which sucks for a guy who was, considered one of the best players coming out of his class and in his rookie class. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, one of the conversations recently was about how, NFL careers on average, and this is off the top of my head, and I know it's close, but 4 years.
Yeah.
Like
that's totally true. You're right. Most of the guys who get an NBA contract, they're on the bench. You know what I mean? They're the guys who stay for 10 or 20, but most of the guys, kind of like football running backs. You look at running backs, they last like 2.8 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same with like.
I mean, there's a with the great running, there's like a pinnacle, like, Terrell Davis, or, it's only like a 2-3 year stretch.
Smith, baby. Emmitt Smith. He could have played until he was 60.
Yeah, but he's an outlier. And there are plenty of
exception.
those. There are plenty of outliers, but it's true. Yeah, if you average out for the guys who get like one game, one snap, or like one tip off in basketball, there's a lot more of those than there are guys who play.
So they were talking about top 5 Patriot players of all time. Like,
all right, I can come up with that.
Meaning, like,
I got my 5.
The effect they had on the franchise, Super Bowl rings, and how they affected that era, basically.
Not a problem for me. Anyway, you got a problem coming up with your top 5 Patriots players?
I know
I'll
too.
give it to you. What?
I know too. They have to be on everyone's list. There's no way they couldn't be on everyone's list.
Tom Brady. And actually, I'm going to go. So it's 1 through 5. Tom Brady's going to be number 1. 5 is going to be John Hanna because he's the only one who gave us respectability in the 70s. Remember that dude, the hog? Do you remember? He was like that. He was like the all-pro offensive lineman. Like the only guy we ever had on our team that was good for like 10 years. And
how about Michael Haynes?
What?
Michael Haynes from that 70s team. He's in the Hall of Fame.
The list was you have to have a ring.
You have to have, okay, so no Hannah. Hannah's gone.
Yeah,
All right, then you got to count Vinatieri. You got to count Gronkowski. Shit, you got to count, all right, with a ring. Actually,
Michael
Bledsoe
Haynes,
has a
Michael
ring,
Haynes.
but he didn't help us that much that year, but he did help us in the second round of the playoffs, right? So he did win that game. So maybe I wouldn't count him top 5.
Mike Haynes did get his ring. He got it with the Raiders.
Oh, really? How about Stanley Morgan? He used to be considered the top Patriot, but he never got a ring, did he? No. Stanley Morgan? No.
No.
Okay. What do you got, Mike Mullen? You got your top 5 lined up, don't you?
I have, yes, I do. So I have obviously Brady.
Yeah.
I have Gronk.
Yeah.
I have Matt Light.
Interesting.
What's that?
I said interesting. I'll go through your list. That's an interesting pick. Go on.
Ty Law and Julian Edelman.
I can't believe it. I don't believe no one said, "Kev, give yours."
No, why does he have to? Why does it have to be a ring involved?
That's just
Is
his
that a rule?
preference.
That's just the
This
rules
was-
for this conversation. Just
This-
for
Oh, for
this
this
con.
conversation.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Just
All right.
for
Yeah,
this
this is
conversation.
just the rules. They did.
Yeah,
it
I
only,
got you. I get it. I get
the
it.
rules for that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
like
don't
that
let
list
me down.
actually. So I'm
Don't-
trying to. I like that list. I'm trying to think.
I'm-
Who
I'm-
I mean,
I'm trying to think if I would. He
I
had
already know
Matt.
what you're thinking.
you got,
No,
you got
he had
Will
Matt
Fork
Light,
and-
where I would put Mike Vrabel. But I don't know if that's fucked up. Maybe
I
Matt
know
Light
the-
was more valuable than Mike Vrabel.
I know
I
the
would
actual
put
answer.
Vrabel for the ring.
Seymour and Will Fork and
Oh God, yeah, Will Fork.
Teddy
Jesus,
Bruschi.
Yeah, we need
Brewski.
the 5. We need the 5.
Who's up?
Kevin.
Kevin. We're on Kevin.
I'm just gonna back Mike's.
All right, he's all right.
So Brady's number 1. I'm gonna say you kind of have to say that Vinatieri's number 2. I
Yeah,
have to
highest.
give it-
He scored more points for them than Brady did, right?
Yeah,
He's kicking
you know,
the ball
yeah.
out the fucking stadium.
3, I'm gonna give Troy Brown. How do you?
Yeah,
think- how
we
is
should
Troy
have done a
Brown-
top 10, not a top 5. Top 5 is too small for that team.
Troy
Like in the
Brown's
last 20
top-
years.
Troy Brown is top 5 in
Yeah.
with a ring, without a ring, anywhere. He's the most useful.
I mean,
Patriot that's
I
ever
think he
been.
cleaned the fucking bathrooms at Gillette. Like he did everything.
Yeah,
you know,
in between
Troy
plays,
Brown.
he didn't even care. Whatever you asked that dude to do, he would. I mean, amazing.
Yep.
Really, how many? He was clutch too, like
Yep.
clutch. 4, I'm gonna give Teddy Bruschi. I got to give it to him for heart reasons, motivation reasons, everything. And 5, Gronk. You gotta say Gronk because
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Gronk
could.
has to be in there. The best
Little.
tight end in the NFL's history,
Yeah.
and all those years with us before
6
Tampa Bay.
Vrabel. If I had to go, 6 would be Vrabel for me.
Yeah, Vrabel was on my list. So Matt Light, Mike Moen, what is it about Matt Light? I loved him too, but what made you put him above some of the guys we talked about who weren't on your top 5?
How he protected Brady.
Yep.
For those years.
Okay,
People
right.
underestimate what it takes to play that position. And
Number
It
7,
was
Joe
amazing.
Andruzzi.
Joe Andruzzi, holy
take-
shit.
I'm taking
How do
Andruzzi
you-
number
yeah,
7.
you can't put him in the top 5 or top 10 maybe, but you kind of for the years he was playing, he was definitely the top. Everyone loved watching Andruzzi play.
His brother,
Ugh.
his brother
That's
was
a
at
hard
4'5",
call, man.
9'11". That was huge.
Funny how there's no running backs on the list, huh?
oh,
No, like
Totally.
Corey Dillon, but we didn't
Yeah,
win a
this is a good one,
championship with
but
him
yeah.
that year,
Right.
did we?
No, we did, but
Oh, we did.
Antoine Smith.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, we did, I guess.
Yeah.
Randy Moss, but we can't count him because he wasn't. I mean, he
He
wasn't.
never won a ring. So for this
Oh yeah,
list,
so he's out anyway, but he's
That's-
still fucking Randy Moss.
18
So I
and
feel
one.
like I have to mention him being on the team.
Best Patriots running back of all time, Curtis Martin.
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say probably. I can't think
Come on,
of anyone better. I'm
what
trying
about the
to.
guy who has made more Pro Bowls than anybody, with the exception of possibly Brady?
Is Curtis Martin?
No, Slater.
Oh,
Oh,
Matthew
yeah,
Slater. Yeah,
oh.
he's always the captain of the Pro Bowl special teams.
That's a
Yeah.
great
That's
call
all.
right there. Yep. Yep. Great call.
Well, Patrick Chung's name was even brought up.
Well, yeah, that's
I'm just
weak
saying
for the
it-
top
it was brought
5,
up.
man. For the top 5, that seems weak. I like that. Give me Eugene Chung. I'll take him. Remember that fucker? Remember Eugene Chung?
Wait, yeah. Wait. I was like, wait, didn't we just say? Oh, Eugene
No, it's
Chung,
Pat
yeah?
Chung. Different Chung, bro.
Connie
Don't be so
Chung. Who the
Asianist.
fuck- Fucking awesome. I like
Well,
that.
Rita
I don't know,
Island.
that's a solid top 5. I don't know. Edelman's got to be up there too. I mean,
Oh, but Kev just made a great point about saying Darrell Revis. But we didn't win with him either. So again,
Yes,
he
we
would
did.
be.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We won a Super Bowl against. Yeah, he was with us one year and we won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
against Seattle.
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck yeah. Shit. Actually, when Mike Moen first mentioned this, I was thinking Malcolm Butler, like as far as like key
The big
plays,
championship.
you know what I
He was
mean?
brought up
Like
too. He
for
was brought up
rings.
as well.
But yeah, that's like the opposite of what I was thinking of Revis. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's a tight little knot at the top
Right.
five.
Tom,
We
Tom,
all
I
know
think
Brady's the number one. After that, it's a tangle.
yeah, Tom, you had a great point. I think maybe in a future podcast we should do a top 10. Like,
yeah, sort of spread it out a little bit. Because it's so crowded at the top right now.
it sure is.
That's not
Although-
a bad thing. Hey, we're spoiled.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
spoiled, no doubt.
Hopefully, it's different people if we do it in a couple of years. We need people to still fucking be doing good. I don't know who's going to be on that list next year. I don't know.
I got a question for you guys. My dad asked me this today. It's a pretty good question though, so I'm curious to hear what you guys will predict. So if you have to right now predict who is going to be in week 1 for the Patriots, the number 2 quarterback.
Cam
I
Newton.
think it'll be Mac Jones.
What do you think, Mike?
Gonna be Mac Jones.
Shamrock?
Mac Jones.
I'm
Cam
gonna go with Brian Hoyer.
wait, what?
I'm serious. If you
Yeah.
get Vegas, if you get a bet on that, throw the money on it. Because here's what happens. Stidham, if he plays like shit in August, he gets cut.
Yeah.
If he plays good, he gets traded for like a 6th-round pick. Okay. So now it's down to 3. Cam Newton starts. Mac Jones as the rookie is 3rd, and Hoyer becomes the second. And I think they want Hoyer in that QB room with the rookie for the first year.
Yeah,
So
that's
what-
fine. I have no problem with that. But if Hoyer is their number 2, he's a placeholder. We've all
Oh, yeah,
seen
absolutely.
Hoyer play.
That's why I said just week 1.
Yeah.
Week 1.
Yeah,
Well, Kevin,
he's a
Kevin, to
placeholder.
your point, they were talking about the hoister in camp, saying how he looked good because he's so relaxed. They're saying like he has nothing to gain or nothing to lose.
Yep.
So he's just out there having fun.
Yep. Yep.
It doesn't really
He knows all
matter.
the plays. He's got the system down, and
That's just it. Hoyer will be a guy that's in their organization for forever. I think.
Yeah, he'll probably end up being their quarterback's coach or offensive coordinator someday.
Well, he
something
really
will happen.
is now their quarterback coach, essentially.
Yeah, he probably is in that role.
Yep.
But for as far as we'll remember this, it's June 24th, so we've got 2.5 months to go. I'm going to still say Mac Jones is number 2 on the depth chart when we start. I think he's going to surpass Hoyer in the published depth chart, in the one they put out. We'll see.
Too.
Defensively, how do you think that with Hightower, if whatever his situation may be, and now we have Matt Patricia, I think the defense is going to be nasty this year. I really
I think
do.
it's gonna be solid.
Yeah, I thought Dante Hightower was our biggest loss to COVID this whole season.
Yeah.
This whole past season.
Absolutely.
It's like they couldn't
Absolutely.
find a way to fill that gap, and we got exploited. It cost us a game or two.
Yeah.
If Dante was in there, there are a few games that were close enough, and we weren't tight enough on D. Yeah, I hope he's back, and I hope he's, in the right mindset. I didn't like it when he sat out. I thought, what a pussy. I got to be honest. I thought that about all of these guys who sat out. I'm like, you fucking fag. You're the healthiest guy in the world. What the hell? Your grandmother survived COVID, you bitch. Just fucking play.
Tom, my grandmother at 90 survived COVID.
Seriously, Dante Hightower, he can deal with the sniffles for $18 million a year or whatever the fuck it was. Jesus
I'll give you my
Agreed.
prediction for a breakout player who might be the next Patriots' big defensive star. Might be the best defensive player we've had in a decade. Kyle Duggar. Am I saying his name right? The guy, the safety, second year
Yep.
safety.
Yeah.
Watch this guy. I think he's going to be something special.
Yep. I think so too. I honestly do. I have a
And
bunch of his
and
guys
Belichick's
too.
always
So.
wanted that really athletic safety that he can bring up in the box, and that's really smart and it's fast enough to cover tight ends and wide receivers. I mean, I think this kid's going to be something.
Yeah.
All those
I watched-
crazy
I,
picks.
I I watched every Patriots game last year, and that name rings a bell, but he did not stand out. There was another guy who stood out for me who was unknown to me until last year on the defense. Rangy linebacker. Fuck. I'm going to have to figure out his name. Shit. But
He might
anyway.
not be on the team now. Most of those linebackers are gone because they replaced them with better players.
Right.
Well, anyway, I did see
and-
promise on our defense last year. I got to fucking rewind it to figure it out. Not going to do it now.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well,
The
Chase
linebacker core
Winovich
is totally
is
different.
like,
Say
Chase
again, Mike
Winovich
Bowen.
is one of those players that's like Chase Winovich is one of those players who's
Yeah.
like,
I like him, man. He was always in on the big plays. Winovich. He was always like, when you look up, like, who the fuck just caught up to that guy? It was him almost every time.
Yeah.
He really wore down though. He just can't handle any of the bigger guys. So I think he has to learn how to be some version of a linebacker, or he's not going to be a very good. He's just going to be a role player.
too small.
And he's got a great motor, but he gets beat up on the line all the time, and he can't get by anybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, Teddy Bruschi came out of college as a lineman, and it took him about 3 years, and then he became a great linebacker. But in his first 2 years, he was just kind of a third down specialist that they used on blitzes and stuff. So I'm hoping that Winovich should be someone that they can turn into a linebacker this year. But if they can't, I don't see him he'll just be a role player because
Yeah.
he's just not strong enough. He's not big enough and strong enough to play the line.
We get all our guys back this year. I know Hightower is going to be huge. I think their defense is, they're going to be top 3 this year, I believe. That's my call anyway. I think.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
that
agree.
second round pick is supposed to be phenomenal if they can keep his head on straight. The kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now, but
It's
he's
not important until he gets a uni.
he was like top 15 talent that fell down for little reasons and stuff like that. But supposedly he has the potential to be really dominant.
Well, they got Judon from Baltimore as well. So
Yeah. Judon from Baltimore. I don't know. I like it. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for football tomorrow.
I can't wait till August. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for fantasy, all of it. So.
It's like
It'll be interesting to watch the preseason games, particularly because of the Mac Jones Cam Newton battle. Because we all know preseason is basically garbage, but they do use certain halves, like the second half of the first game or the last half of the second game, where they actually do put in what they project as their starting lineup, and then they run the rest of the guys through the mill. It'll be interesting to see Mac Jones perform. Everyone I've heard, basically through EI and the other one, the Hub, are saying that Mac Jones is getting a shitload of repetitions during, like, when they did the voluntary camps and all that. So they're giving him a tryout. I mean, they're at least giving him a chance. That I think will be fascinating. And if he starts, I don't think he will, but if he starts the first game of the year, that's like that's an era changing thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cam Newton, we knew he was going to start when he came in. We had, he was the best available quarterback who we knew could play at least.
Yep.
Even though he turned out to not be all that great last year. Yeah, that'll be one of the most interesting opening days we've had in 20 years. Without Tom Brady, everything's up in the air. You start new every year. We're like a normal NFL team, and I kind of like being like a normal NFL team. Like, we don't know if we're going to be good or not. After 20 years being like, yeah, we're going to be good, but are we going to go undefeated? It's like, we're only going to win 13 games this year. Fuck. We're not in that zone anymore.
I miss those days. I want to go back to that.
Yeah. We definitely spoiled, but we'll see. We'll get back there.
Well, Brady will be back week 4.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, we got to live blog that or something.
Yeah.
We got
I'm not paying $1,200 to go there.
No, fuck yeah. No, fuck no. But we got a lot, because that'll be national TV, so it doesn't even matter. Like, everyone will be able to watch it. It's a Sunday night game, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, we should live blog that.
We will.
Us 4 and whoever else we can get,
We can do that.
That'll be cool.
No doubt. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. It's already been we'll get some time in tonight, but thank you guys for coming through. Michael, thank you. Kevin, as always, a pleasure.
Always.
Lincoln,
Nice to meet you,
great
Mike.
have
Good to see you
back,
guys.
buddy.
Nice to be here. Hey, and before we sign off, my background today is the flag because after today, I am going to be paying full fucking attention to the Olympics. And when the Olympics start, I got to tell you, you're going to be bombarded with Olympic shit that you don't care about. But I'm going to be telling you about the 400-meter relay every fucking day.
I dig it.
Just so you
Olympics
know,
are the best.
that's a warning for you. I am
dig
an
it.
Olympics junkie, and I just cannot wait. And my buddy Bam made the basketball team, as you saw. So just so you know, a month from now, we're shifting. I mean, we have to do like a daily Olympic update or some bullshit like that.
Yeah,
That's
no
cool.
doubt. Believe me, I'm in. I love the Olympics. It's something to follow. You know what I mean? Something to do.
I love it too. All right. Thank you, Mike Moen. Thank you, Kev. Thanks, Mike Casello. I guess we're wrapping up, right?
We will. Guys, have a great night. Till next
You
time.
as well.
Good night, guys.
Take care.
Take
See ya.
care.
Later.
Peace.
Peace out.
All right, guys. So thank you for watching here. We just wanted to throw a shout out to one of our guys here, Dave Kenny. He lost his wife this week. Condolences to you, Dave. We love you. Everybody, thank you for watching. Until next time. Have a great night.